Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, Pam. Thank you for joining. Tell us about FlexBen.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here today, Andy. So Flex Benefits, what this is it's a product that it offers supplemental product solutions. It spans across small business, ACA, as well as Medicare markets. And we offer permanent, portable, guaranteed issue coverage.
Wait, so what makes Flex Benefits products, other than the guaranteed issue, what makes it different from the zillions of supplemental health products that are out in the market?
That's a great question. So one of the things is the simplicity and ease of not just selling the product, but the administration of it. Our product platform, we have it down to 5 steps, and this can be completed in under 5 minutes from the opening up the quoting portal to and closing it out at enrollment. And we've had actually one of our partner brokers who's been doing this for almost 30 years say that this is hands down the easiest platform he has ever sold on. Wow. So the ease of it is definitely one thing. And the other is the price. We're able to bring to the table great pricing, a lot of times even lower pricing than our competition, but our benefits are actually richer in a lot of ways. So those are the two of our strongest things that we bring to the table.
I noticed in your background the word flexible twice. Well, one says flex, the other one says flexible. What does that mean? You didn't mention anything. What makes this so flexible?
Well, that's a very good point. So one of the things of the way that we are established is that we have pre-made packages that offer different levels of benefits that are as default amounts. But you can adjust those. They're flexible. You can go in and say, I would like to have the AME coverage on here, but I don't really want the critical illness. And we have pre-made packages that you can just flex around and add and deduct things and make it really match up to what your exact needs are for that particular client, because everybody's financial needs are different and their coverage needs are different. So we're very flexible in that manner.
I would think there's a huge difference between a 35-year-old husband, wife, and 3 kids versus a 67-year-old senior. And you're saying that this is flexible enough for both?
Yes, I am. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about the product. So tell us, let's change gears. Thanks for the little 30-second commercials. Those were great. Let's change gears and talk about the product. Is there anything you want to show, or how do you want to talk about the products?
Why don't I pull up the, let me go ahead and do this here.
We'll edit this part out.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to get to the share here. Where's the share button on?
Should be in the upper right-hand corner. There's a toolbar either at the top or the bottom.
I don't have share on mine. Am I not able to share?
Yep. Let me try. Letty, do you see a share button on yours?
Yes. At the top of the screen, Pam, next to leave in the red box right to the left of it is a share.
You really, it's weird that you spell it like that too. I can't believe that I missed that. Okay, so are you able to see the screen with my agent portal on it?
Yes.
Yep.
Wonderful. So this here is just the way that it looks for you log in. And just to give you a real quick example of what the products are, I'll just punch in a couple of random numbers here, and then I'll bring you to what these packages look like, and it will give you a really nice visual. We'll go ahead and add a spouse just for good measure here. Okay, so in our portal, this is what this will look like when you pull it up. We've got our pre-made selections here. We've got a package called Flex Fuel. We've got one called Career Pro, Independent Pro, Early Retiree, Senior Advantage, Freestyle Package, and then our Critical Illness Focus, and then the Smart Virtual Care, which this is just strictly virtual care, which at $0 copays. This is baked into all of these other plans, but it is available on its own as well. So just for, let's just take a look at the Senior Advantage package for a moment. The way that this plan is, well, you know what, those people that I entered in for birth dates aren't senior ages. Let's go with this one here. Let's go with Independent Pro. So this plan here comes out, you can see the way it's defaulted at $145.46 per month. That includes all of the Flex 3 membership, which is the $0 virtual benefits, and those are unlimited. And it also includes these packages here. So if you look at the AME, for example, it defaults at $7,500. You can change this, maybe make it a little bit lower, maybe increase that amount. The beauty of this is that right as you're doing that, you can see what those differences are. And not only that, when you change it to look at it, you can see it changes real time with you here up in the top as far as what those numbers look like. So you're not fussing around and going back and forth and trying to find quotes that you've done or can't find them backwards or forwards. That's a mess. We also bake into all of our plans the accidental death, $25,000. Disability, we can say, let's add, this person's maybe making more money, they want $1,000 a week, and maybe these people don't want critical illness at all. So right now, the way that I've customized this particular package with all of these benefits for this husband and wife together, their monthly cost is $110 for both of them. And again, this is with all of these coverages. We can take some of these coverages off. You can make them richer, you can make them a little bit lesser. So that goes to the flexibility that we were talking about earlier. And then this is the membership portion here of the Communicating for America, which is the virtual care app. We also have a virtual vet app as part of this. All of these virtuals are at $0 copay. The virtual vet has a $39 copay, and that's just because it's not in with our medical model because it is veterinary. It's more of a service. But yeah, that's really how this works. And if you go back here to the products, these are the different packages, and we are currently working right now on kind of combining some of these to make it a little bit more simplistic to go through and choose the packages as well. And again, you can review and modify, and I'll just put in my number here, or my email here, excuse me. And we're already at enrollment. And this here is basically just standard information. I'm just going to put some things in here. All right, so you can see at this point now we're at step 4. I've entered all of the information as far as names, phone number, contact information. At this point, you can share the you can share the application by email with your client. You can also send it by SMS. We are a very, very technological forward company. We have this made for mobile first, very, very compatible. You've got an attestation button here.
And what happens when, when that gets sent to the client, whether it's email or text? Do they sign for it that way, or what happens? Or
No.
is that just for information purposes?
It's for information purposes, but the next portion here is about the signature that you're just asking about.
Okay.
Yeah, and so at this point you would hit one of these attestation buttons. One is if you have the applicant present with you and they're signing on their own behalf. And the other would be is if maybe they're on the phone with you, or if you're working in a call center environment, to where that signature is verbal. We'll just say that they're in the office with you here. And
so if they're not in the office, then a verbal signature will work.
Yes, correct. You
Yeah.
would just, as the agent, you would just attest that you're taking that from them directly.
That's
Yeah.
nice and easy. Great.
Yes, for sure. And at this point, then it's electronic signature, and that's how that will populate. And that will populate the same regardless of whichever of these attestation buttons that you are using. And we are at the end. This is the last step. And at this point, we would look at, we do offer a credit card. You can do it, they can put in their payment information that way. We suggest ACH. ACH is just a lot better for persistency and stickiness. You don't have credit cards expiring. You don't have cards being lost, things like that needing to be changed. And it's no different than any other type of an ACH entry. You would just put in your account holder name, your bank name, routing address, and account number. Right here, I have this plan starting on November 6th of 2024. Now, if I had this dated for, say, January 1st, 2025, and say my client really wants this, but they really don't want to pay for it right now, or they can't necessarily afford it right today, we can click this button here, and that will delay that ACH payment until the policy effective date. So essentially, you can sell the policy, you can submit the policy, you can do everything that you need today, regardless of, as long as it's within a 60-day window, and click this delay button, and they won't have to pay for it until it becomes active. And at that point, you click pay, and you are literally done. And that took me about 5 or 6 minutes, and that was with me talking a whole lot through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really is easy. So, in terms of the products, though, can we go back and make sure that we're understanding exactly what all is included? So FlexBend is it's not a product as much as it is a package of different products put together in the simplest way. Supplemental health products, put it all together. So
Yeah.
It looked like that Independent Pro had a little bit of everything in there. So maybe that's where we can can you kind of talk through exactly what all these looks like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus the membership. So they're like 8 or 9 different things all in one.
Yes. So the thing is with this one, let me just.
Or whichever one. Let's just go through what all is.
Yeah, Career Pro is a good one too. Here's the thing. The way that we have these packages set up, we built them to basically align with whatever type of market that your client might fall into. So if you've got somebody that is, in the Medicare side, you're probably going to want to go here in a Senior Advantage. Or if you've got someone that literally has retired early, but they're, so they're not working yet, but they're not Medicare eligible yet, they're going to sit in this bucket here.
Bridge to Medicare, as Letty would say.
Yep. And these here are basically if you've got people that are, say they're working and, they have some coverage maybe from their employer, but it's not enough for them to feel comfortable and safe and stable with their finances. So they maybe want to supplement that. Independent Pro is built for contractors and gig workers and people that work for themselves. So again, each one of these is meant to align with a particular lifestyle. But there are people that don't necessarily fit in a box. And so that's why we offer this Freestyle, which really has everything in it, and you can pick and choose. Yeah.
So let's take a second on Freestyle just for the sake of this discussion. Okay.
Sure.
So whether you have an ACA client, a group client, or a Medicare client, let's just agree it could be any of those types.
Yes.
So can you kind of walk us through, okay, so accident medical expense, is that a reimbursement or is that a fixed benefit? How does your accident AME work?
So with the AME, we just need an explanation of benefits. That's it. Okay. That's all we need. So it's very simple.
And there's no coordination.
Correct. Well, I shouldn't say that. On the AME, there is coordination benefits. On the critical illness and the sickness riders, there's not.
Okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yep.
Accidental death, that's pretty obvious. You die by accident. Okay. So disability, what is the trigger in order to be eligible for the $500 a week for 13 weeks. That's here with the 14
Yeah.
days.
And it actually goes up to $1,500 per week. We'll just put it on that because there are people that, want to be insured for more.
Yep.
And basically, as long as you have an accident, you're determined disabled by a physician. It does have to be certified by a physician, which is no
Sure.
different than any other. There's a 14-day elimination period. And as long as you're not working, and it is in your particular role, not any role, as long as you're not working in your role and you are certified from your doctor, all you have
Wow.
is the 14-day elimination period, and it kicks in.
So that would be really valuable for a 30 or 40-year-old, not really very helpful for an 80-year-old who's not working anyway. So on the
Right.
senior version, you probably don't either. That's not in the package anyway, or you would eliminate.
Yeah, it's not in the package. If
Okay.
it's not
Wouldn't make
applicable, then it's not even offered in the package, correct?
Okay.
That's a
Wellness.
good point. Thank you.
Sure. No. The wellness benefit, is it simply as you get rewarded for going and getting your preventive done, or what is the?
Yeah,
what is the
it
wellness?
is. It is. And you can take that off. You can increase it to 200. A lot of
Okay.
people really don't even need this. It's just something that we've built in there for some people that do. What we really see most often is that one just, for the most people, they just take it right off of there and they don't need it. But for the people that do need it, it is there.
One of the things I like about that, by the way, if you could stick that back on there for just a second.
Sure.
So let's say you have a senior. I'm assuming you can have that in the Medicare space as well.
Yes.
Okay. So I really like when agents sell Medicare Supplement, Plan G. Love the product, works great, but it has one flaw. And that is there is a deterrent to seek your preventive and wellness because there's a deductible, unlike on a Medicare Advantage plan where it's covered at 100%. So what happens is sometimes people with Medicare Supplement Plan Gs will skip the preventive and wellness because they got to pretty much come out of pocket for it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. And in addition to that, our virtual benefits, we have virtual primary care, and it's wellness. You can order
You can do that
labs,
too.
all of that, and that is literally at a $0 copay, no matter what, all of it, and it is unlimited. So it fills
I like
a
it.
very, very large void there for that particular market.
Yeah, I like that.
Especially for
I don't want
snowbirds.
agents right. I don't want agents to blast through that wellness and assume everybody has that. Yeah, your ACA may cover it. Yeah, your Med Advantage might cover it, but there's plenty of other things that don't, and MedSup is a good example. Okay, so then you got your sickness physician office visit. So does that also include? Yeah, it includes urgent care. You get 2 of those. Emergency room. Tell us about that.
Okay, so this one here it's basically, it's associated with the diagnostic testing. So if you go into the ER and, they don't know what's wrong with you, but they want to do maybe a CT scan or these type of things, this is going to help with that. And this here, you can take a look. You can take it off and you can go all the way up to $500 per day on this. And this is also something that emergency and urgent care obviously are 2 different things, but in the virtual, again, we have virtual urgent care on here, which is again at $0 copay, and they can and do write prescriptions, everything that you can possibly need without having to be physically in the urgent care or the emergency facility. So both of them cover a little bit of the need on that.
That makes sense. And,
Yeah.
a lot of these are out-of-pocket costs that a lot of people don't think about because they're just chasing whatever's the cheapest health plan, not realizing that they're exposing themselves to out-of-pocket costs that, frankly, most people just don't have the money.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing that we ask, when we're trying to get to the core of what would be a good product for a certain client is, what is your occupation? How much do you make? Can you afford a $10,000 bill if you have an accident or somebody gets sick? Those are, they're not hard questions, but they really make them think and think,
Yeah.
I really can't afford that, but could I afford maybe $20 a month? Yeah, I could.
Love it. You say 10,000. Most Americans can't afford 1,000. Most Americans can't afford
No.
500. So before we
true.
start
It's true.
assuming our clients would look at this and say, that's not a lot of benefit, for most Americans, they don't have the money to come out of pocket to hit their deductibles, to hit their out-of-pocket matches.
Right.
They don't have it.
No, and we're at a point, and we all know this too, but we're at a point in our economy that it's not easy to just say, oh, I'm going to go to a relative and borrow it. They don't have it either.
Yep.
It's just the way things are in these days, and that's something that we are trying to really, really help address with people.
And if Jeff Smedrud were here, he'd say, and these people are accumulating masses of healthcare debt that they can't afford. They're accumulating it, and they're going bankrupt because
Yes.
they don't have the money, even after all the money that is being spent in this country to provide for healthcare, all these great insurance plans, and so many people are now insured, and yet we still have people going broke because
Right.
they don't have the money, largely for out-of-pocket costs. They just don't
Exactly.
have $1,000. They don't have $5,000. It's
No.
a shame to have somebody go broke because they
For
can't come
that.
up with a grant.
Yeah, and not only that, it is a huge part of the medical debt and how fast it can stack up. But just as important is what that debt does to a person personally.
Yeah.
It brings them down. It brings the vibration of everything they're doing down, and they don't feel good about things. So you're not just avoiding, the debt, helping avoid the debt itself, but also helping to keep that person healthier because you're going to keep them up out of that depression range, if that makes any sense.
It's so much stress. I mean, life brings you enough financial stress without having a medical bill you can't afford. And
Right.
We're not just, crying wolf here. This is a national crisis
It
that we're
is.
facing as a country. And all of this time and all these politicians running around how we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And yet at the end of the day, what's busting people is $1,500 or $2,000 that they just don't have.
Right.
So let's change gears a little bit. Thanks for sharing a little bit more about the product. I see there's a couple other features in here with hospitalization, surgical, and CI. I think we get those. Let's talk a little bit about the opportunity. So if I hear you correctly, Pam, we've got an opportunity in the individual under 65 market using this with either an ACA or a group.
Yes.
We've got this to work with a Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement. We've talked about those.
Correct.
This could also be, Letty, attached easily to a short-term medical, to a indemnity plan. I mean, we have a whole group of price-sensitive customers that can't afford to have some of these ACA plans that if they're not subsidized. So even on something like that, they still have deductibles and out-of-pocket costs that a lot of Americans can't afford. So you could stack it on top of that.
Yep. One thing to keep in mind with that too is, we offer this to cover the whole family. So the children, just like on the medical side, up to age 26 can be included in this coverage. So it's not just for the primary adults in the family, it's for the whole family.
And that becomes really crucial because if you got a family of 5, it's impossible to go through a year without somebody hurting themselves on the soccer field or some kid going to the urgent care or
dad
having a heart attack or I don't know,
right. And especially with the kids, there's a lot of times when you can save that whole trip to the urgent care and save that 4 hours. They're not necessarily, unless you really feel they're sick, and they're going to have to draw blood or something like that in person. A lot of those things can be directed right over the phone. You can do it from home. Don't wait the 4 hours and have $0 out of pocket and let your child stay in their pajamas and get it dealt with. It's just kind of a win-win from that perspective as well.
Letty, so we're so pleased that Pivot is our partner in this. So help us understand. So all of our agents have access to this product as part of their Pivot arrangement. how do they access help us understand a little bit if you're an agent
Yep.
and you're working with North American and Pivot, what do you got to do to get started? You don't have to get contracted.
Nope, super easy. So, when you go into, or when the agent gets contracted with Pivot now, they have their Pivot agent number. They're going to go to www.pivothelp.com. They're going to click on for agents and then agent and broker login. When they go onto that landing page now, this is a baby step. Eventually, we want to have it as a tab. As it used to display short-term dental, and we used to have the fixed benefit or the anchor plan. Eventually, Flex Benefits is going to be on the top of the page when they're actually in their agent portal. So
Okay.
for now, when they're in the login process, they have the option of logging into their Pivot agent portal or Flex Benefit portal.
Oh,
And they can go directly into the Flex Benefit and get themselves enrolled and start quoting and enrolling right from there. So we're trying to make it as seamless as possible.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's not on the same exact landing page yet, but they don't have to go to another login. We don't have to send them the link to Flex Benefits. We've tied it into our landing page.
sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that makes
they-
it super simple. So they don't got to go get contracted. They don't got to go find a
Mm-mm.
new portal.
Nope.
Everything's already incorporated, and it's only going to get more and more incorporated with each other as we get the tech part of it
That's correct.
seamlessly.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Sweet.
and their carrier is Companion Life, which was our staple carrier from day one with Pivot for our short-term plans. So everyone
Sweet.
who's contracted with Pivot, that's the first carrier they were contracted with. That is the core of our short-term medical, because North River came along some years later, and then now we added Pan American. So, 99% of the agents are good to go with Companion Life. So they've accepted that as
Sweet.
the contracting for Flex Benefits. So it made it super seamless, because I think that's where a lot of your pushback comes when, more contracting and, who is this, and too many names. It adds that, uncomfortable feeling for agents. They just, or either they're overwhelmed with signing up with a million carriers, or
You bet.
they just don't want to bother with it anymore. So it really worked out well.
Did I
Yeah.
also
And-
understand from Robin, there's some, I'm sorry, Pam, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just gonna tag on to that just real briefly that we are a very solid partnership. So along with Pivot, Flex Benefits, and myself personally, we're here as sales support for everybody. Sales support, marketing support. We don't want to just bring people on board and partner up and just send you off out in the wild selling. We want to be partners, and we want to help everybody all the way through this, and we will do that in several different ways throughout the year, also including bonus programs we can hit on later.
Wait a minute, let's not hit on later, let's hit on now.
Now,
Let's talk about money.
Let's do that. So we're gonna have to probably have them edit out a little bit of this here, but let's see. Okay.
yeah. You do
Are you able
yours
to-
first, Pam, and then I'll do mine, because ours
Yep,
is going
that
to
sounds
be
good.
in conjunction with, so above and beyond the Flex
Oh,
Right.
bonus.
So this is what our current bonus program looks like right now. And it's a $4,000 sprint bonus is what we call it. And it started October 1st and it goes through January 30th it goes through January 31st of 2025, but the policies have to be effective no later than February 1st of 2025. And this is something that, along with your first application, you would earn a $55 bonus. The next 5 would be $20 each. The next 10 would be $40 each. The next 80 would be $50 each. So in theory, if between now and January 31st, 2025, if you sold 101 applications and put those through, you would get a $4,555 bonus from Flex Benefits on top of your commissions. In
Wow.
addition to that, Pivot has put together their own to go along with ours to make that even more lucrative.
Yep. Yeah.
Did you want to speak on that one, or do you want me to bring up that?
Yep, absolutely. So,
Okay.
the Pivot bonus was a little delayed getting started, so we made it effective November 1st. It just The announcement went out yesterday. We are running hours through January 31st as well. So the baseline is going to be, and if you haven't seen the email yet, Andy, I'll send you the flyer. So of course we're paying $300 for a 12-month duration plan, $200 for an 8-month, and then $75 for each 4-month. When it comes to flex benefits, we're going to pay an additional $25. So they do have to reach the baseline, which is going to be 3 short-term medical plans, 12-month, 8 if that is going to be the
800.
longest duration in that state. There's going to be a 7 baseline for the 4-month duration. So once the baseline is met with our short-term medical plans, then the ancillaries will start kicking in per app, and it'll go back to the first app issued on November 1st through the end. Yep, and effective dates can be as far out for us as February 15th.
That is some serious cash.
Yes, sir.
It really is. It will add up so fast. And really, when you think about it, it's things that you're doing anyhow. You're already selling these type of products, but this way you're able to give, a higher quality product, better price, plus you're earning double your bonuses. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it,
Absolutely.
guys. That's a lot of great stuff. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the fact that we're right in the heart of selling season. What do you recommend, Letty or Pam, as far as next steps? So now we got all these agents, hundreds of them already contracted. They've already got Pivot.
Mhm.
They've already got flexible benefits. What should be obviously a huge income opportunity? What should they do now?
Letty, do you want to take that, or would you like
Yep.
me to?
Well, yep. So I have, on my part, with all the agent trainings that I'm doing and have been doing, we have incorporated the flex benefits. I've got a couple of very high-level slides just to let agents know, because, of course, they're not going to know about it, and they're not seeing it in the actual quoting. So if they just go directly into their Pivot, they're not going to know about the flex benefits. So
You bet.
I'm helping them and guiding them and letting them know, hey, this is what you can bundle it with our products, and super easy. Before you get logged into your agent portal, click on the flex benefits and you can go from there. So the most you could do is get in front of agents and keep reminding them, and then the training, right? So mine is high level enough to make them a little bit dangerous. It's not quite as in depth, but we've been scheduling webinars where Pam's going into the weeds of the product. There you go. That's the screen. So you see where it is right there.
Yep, on the right-hand side. Nice.
Yep.
And that's, as Letty had mentioned, that, I'm available to coordinate with you or at any level throughout your organization. And I can do as many trainings, webinars like this as needed. And that's something that we are here for. There's never such a thing as doing too many of those.
Mm-mm.
You
They
got
can
it.
be one-on-one or they can be 30 agents. It doesn't matter. We're here to do them.
Let me stop sharing. I wanted to close by thanking Pam and Letty. Thanks so much for the time
welcome.
today. This is a great
Thank
opportunity,
you.
not only for agents, but for their clients who are really, as we talked about, we don't want to leave them exposed to out-of-pocket costs that they can't afford. And this is practically like a one-stop shop
Yep.
for everything an agent would need in order to fill those gaps, no matter what's being
Correct.
sold. And I don't know that there's anything else out there that you can have just this one product, and no matter what market you're in, group, individual, Medicare, you got a product that can plug those gaps.
Yeah,
really
and it's always key to
incredible.
remember that it's at a fair price. We're either as good as or better than what you're selling now. So you're not having to sacrifice anything in order to provide that level of a product.
And with the bonuses, you're not sacrificing comp by having a low price, because the comp
Right.
is huge with all those
Correct.
bonus dollars in there.
Yeah, correct.
Great job, guys. Let me
Thank you.
turn off the recording. Okay.
Thank you, Andy.